Hey you guys, it's Britt. Tonight we're here to react to Gypsy Rose cooking for her boy toy Ken. This video is, like, I've already watched it once, and once was enough for me to bring it here for a reaction. It's got so much going on, so many just performative BS moments, along with some alligator tears and some, in my opinion, some very blasé cooking. So either way, we're going to go over it in a reaction style video. So if you're interested, please keep watching. Alright you guys, so this video has 44,000 views. It was posted one day ago. It has 2.1 thousand likes to 230 dislikes. And the description, it says, "Join me as I cook for Ken for the first time." It was going great until, well, you'll have to watch till the end to see what goes down in the kitchen, with a laughing and a fire emoji. I said this in a recent video, her PR team is absolutely telling her, you have to reel this in. Let's do some really blasé content. Let's put a somewhat interesting title and description, because if you continue on the path that you were on, like even, a month or two ago, this ship is going to sail. And as we know, she's labeling herself as a social media influencer. I'll put that comment right here that was going around TikTok. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. You're already one of the most disliked people on social media. So if you continue to be this toxic, clapping back, causing drama, nonsense person that you're being, you can't do that and want to be a social media influencer. And as a reminder, when she came out of prison, what happened to being an advocate? Doing advocacy for other people that might have gone through MVP, even though we know that now, current day, her story just has way too many red flags. But that's a conversation for a different day. Let's get into what she has going on. This is ridiculous.
So tonight I am cooking dinner for Ken. This is the first time that I will be cooking a dinner for him. Usually he's the one that's always cooking for me. So he is at work right now, and he does not know that I am planning this romantic dinner tonight. So I am making spaghetti and meatballs. I have the recipe right here. I've got all the ingredients that I need. I just kind of cook the meatballs, just kind of warm them up a little bit because I kind of like it to be a little bit more cooked. And I also cooked.
When you buy meatballs in a frozen bag, they're usually already cooked and all you have to do is reheat them. And secondly, why do we need a recipe for spaghetti and meatballs? All you do is put the shit in the pot, make it warm, and that's it.
The little smokies. So a lot of people like meatballs, but I like little smokies in my spaghetti. Alright, so I'm gonna start. Okay, so I've got my seasonings that has bell pepper, onion, they call it Creole seasoning. So fresh. Okay, put it on. Stir.
She is so lazy, she couldn't even chop up her own vegetables. She had to go to the store and buy the pre-cut vegetables. What are we doing? Why is this even a I hope that nobody took this as a video that they could learn anything from, because she's not doing anything. She's combining ingredients into a pot and claiming that she's preparing a meal. You're reheating food, which is okay, but let's not try to act like you're in the kitchen getting fancy for this romantic dinner. Please.
So I'm just gonna saute these first. And then I have the pasta sauce, the tomato paste, the diced tomatoes with green chilies, all my spices. So I've got all my kitchen set up. Get to work. I'm gonna wait until this heats up a little bit. Put a little bit of virgin olive oil. Okay. Okay, so I switched burners because I kind of like having the burner, the pot a little closer to the camera so you guys can see all the ingredients that I'm putting in. All right, so I'm gonna start like putting some condiments. I'm gonna brown. I'm really short.
Girl, what are you looking at the recipe for? This is something, and this is no shame to people that this might be a meal that you cook. That's no shame, but it's literally putting ingredients together and making sure that it's warm. This is not cooking, which is fine. But again, we're misleading audience. We're misleading people that are watching this video to make it seem like you're putting in more effort than you really are, to make yourself look more genuine than you really are. And thank God a lot of us see through it.
Kind of explain why I am doing this romantic night for Ken. He has been amazing throughout these last couple of months. When we found out we were pregnant, or are pregnant, I guess I kind of just was worried that like he would stay just for the baby.
Or he would leave you like he has before, because it's very clear that Ken has only returned to the picture because he sees that Gypsy Rose is now being accepted by millions of people and she's no longer in prison. If she was still in prison, there is no way that Ken would have come back and said, hey, you know what, let's work this out because you're my soulmate, you're my best friend, you're my twin flame. That would not have happened. He literally was watching all of this unfold like the rest of us. She came out, she was accepted, she was making a lot of money, going on these press tours and interviews. People were interested. And he decided to go ahead and come back. If he was actually, let's talk about like actual soulmates, it would not have only been a reunion because she was out in the free world. It would have been, wow, she's still in prison, but this is actually my soulmate, so I'm going to ride it out for a few more years. That's what would have happened, in my opinion, of course.
And I don't want that for him. Like, I want him to be happy, and I want him to want to be with me. And so, you know, I think I've been so distracted and consumed by all the changes that's going on in my life, like the divorce, pregnancy. It's just a lot to take in. And if I can do a few nice things for him to show my appreciation, then that's just a small bit of giving back what he's given me. So Ken and I met in
A few nice things equals reheating food and serving it to him. I guess that's a few nice things in her book. I've heard this story of her and Ken meeting and how they whatever before. She's told this story before. I think that Ken is just as weird as Ryan Anderson, because they both contacted her because of her story being told on network television and documentaries and, you know, tabloids and all of that. I don't know what person in their right mind would say, this is somebody that I want to contact and I want to be romantically involved with. So I will always say, I think that Ryan Anderson was mistreated, and I think that he was a pawn in her game, just like Ken is, because Ken will not be around forever. Yes, she did kind of trap him with this pregnancy, but this is not going to be everlasting. Let's be honest. When she gets tired, she will leave. And then she will come up with a brand new story of how he was controlling, he was not being nice to her, he was maybe even endangering her safety as far as being a mom. I can already see all of this playing out. But all of that is just to say that while I have understanding for Ryan, and I think that he was mistreated. I also think that both of them are in the same boat as far as being really weird for wanting to contact Gypsy, and not just contact her, but start a relationship with her. It is equally as weird.
2017, after he watched my HBO documentary, and he wrote me a letter and we became friends, and then letters went to phone calls, and then phone calls led to a visit. And on this visit, like, we had been talking for about 4 months or so, and I just remember walking into the visitation room and he was wearing the bracelets. I'm sure a lot of you have seen like the black and white bead bracelets. So that was a gift for us. So he had his black and white bead bracelet, and then I had mine that he had brought in for me. Well, he didn't know that he couldn't give it to me because I wasn't allowed to take anything back with me. And so after all these years, he's kept it. And so anyway, getting off course, he shows up at the visit, and like we start talking, and like 37 minutes into the visit, we're talking about this TV show we were watching at the time. And I just remember like he leaned over and just gave me the most like knock your socks off kiss imaginable. Like, this was super romantic. Because like I had never been kissed like that. Like, I had kissed people. I had kissed obviously one other person before that, and like never in.
She has kissed numerous people before that, one being Nicholas Godejohn, whom she manipulated and, you know, made him feel like his only option was to unalive her mother, and he went along with that because he was under Gypsy's control for so long leading up to the actual crime. I like how anytime she needs to or wants to mention Nicholas, it's like, oh, this one other person, oh, this one other guy. You were literally doing the unimaginable hours after y'all unalived your mother. Let's not act as if this is some kind of like sweet little thing that happened. Y'all were doing that right after you brutalized your mother.
Life had I had a kiss like that. Like, wow. And so I looked at him and I'm like, I don't think we can kiss like this. And I don't know, we just went with it, and we started kissing again. And then the guard walks by and then sees us, and she catches me and she's like, Miss Blanchard, what are you doing in the blue chairs right now? And I'm like, okay. So my visit got interrupted, and then I got, of course, a reprimand. And I go back into the visitation room, and I'm like, I might be in trouble. And he's like, I'm so sorry. And then they just decided to just terminate the visit. I got a write-up for it, and he got banned for 6 months. And so after that happened, we just continued writing letters and phone calls, and we became like officially a couple, until he can come back and visit me again. And he came back, and we had a much better visit this time around. Stood by the rules. We learned our lesson. And then we dated for 2 years, and he would keep coming to visit me while I was in Chillicothe, and we got engaged, and we kept deliberating. Do we want to get married in prison? Yes, no. We thought about a January wedding.
See, this is the whole thing. This is a problem. Gypsy Rose has a long history of ignoring guidelines and thinking that she can get away with it, and I guess maybe even being confused when somebody calls her out. And that has followed her from before she was in prison, during her prison stay, and current day. She thinks that the rules do not apply to her. She does not need to acknowledge them. Why should she have to follow them? She is now a popular social media person, and during her prison time, I'm sure that she had a lot of people tricked and fooled into thinking that she was this survivor where her only option was to unalive her mother and use Nicholas Godejohn to do so. Why do you have to make poor little me follow the rules? That is her mindset, and it is still that way today.
And I mean, ultimately, it was just kind of decided that I didn't want to rob him of a real wedding. He didn't want to rob me of a real wedding. And so we called off the engagement, we called off the wedding, but we didn't call off the engagement. And this was right around the time that the act had came out. A lot was going on around that time, a lot of stress. Stress is really hard on a relationship. So, some things occurred that opinions got to him. And ultimately, he felt the best thing to do would be to let me live my life outside of the relationship.
Let me live my life outside of the relationship. You were in prison. What do you mean live your life? Ken wanted to jump ship because he decided that this was not for him. And then he realized that now she's popular, now she's famous, making all the money, blah, blah, blah. And when he came back, she immediately trapped him with a pregnancy. We saw the timeline. We saw how quick it happened, and I am not here for that. Oh, well, this is a genuine love story, and we're just so in love. Save it.
It was not what I wanted. It was not what he wanted. But there were so many opinions telling him, if you love her, let her go. I wish he would have talked to me about it before he ended the relationship, because I would have told him how much he meant to me, and how much like light and joy he brought to my life. And losing him was so hard, and I felt like I lost my best friend. I did lose my best friend. And it's like, for 2 years, this person and I were communicating. I would tell Ken my deepest, darkest secrets. And
listen, people that are best friends, soulmates, and all of the things, what's happening with Ken and Gypsy, that does not happen if the connection is actually genuine and that person is truly there for you. Ken, in my opinion, is there for convenience, and Gypsy decided to trap him with a pregnancy so that he could never slip away from her. And even if she one day decides, well, I'm done with you, blah, 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 they still have that tie because now they have a child allegedly together, which the paternity is not even done yet. That will not be done until the baby is born. So going off the assumption that the child is his, they will always be tied together in that manner. And Gypsy is going to dispose of him just like she has everybody else in her life.
Twins. I never had to explain anything to him. He knew where I was coming from, and I knew where he was coming from. And I always had a way of, when he was upset, I could word things in a way to calm him.
I had a way to calm him, aka I'm good at manipulating people, and for one time my manipulation tactics did not work, and that's why Ken stayed away until she was released and she got famous for all the wrong reasons. But sure enough, he came crawling back
in a way that it might change his perception of the situation going on, to where he would be calm about it. And then he had that same effect on me.
If he had the same effect on her, it's too bad that he wasn't around when she was plotting to unalive her mother. But in my opinion, this is all just lip service. She does not care what anyone else has to say. She is going to do exactly what she wants to do. Because Nicholas Godeshan has said how he hesitated. He hesitated to carry out this unaliving plan of Dee Dee. But at the end of the day, Gypsy continued and went on and on and on. And Nicholas was absolutely coerced into carrying this out because he thought it was the only way to handle the situation.
And, you know, it's one of those things that you always look back, like, and even when you're with someone, it's not fitting. It's like trying to force a puzzle piece that doesn't go, because you already met your puzzle piece.
Yes, but you're forcing the puzzle piece with Ken, and it just so happens that now you have a reason to always have him around, and that is that you are allegedly having a baby with him. In my opinion, nothing with Gypsy Rose as far as connections come from an organic place. They come from a place of, you can fill a role right now, and it is what it is. But certain people that fill that role are going to be discarded like trash once she thinks that she has something better on the other side. Once she thinks the grass is greener, she's going to go ahead and toss you to the side. But I do think that she has this odd obsession with Ken, and that is why this child is going to link them together for at least 18 years, assuming that it's his.
A puzzle piece that doesn't go because you already met your puzzle piece and it fits so perfectly without effort. And so that's how I felt with my relationship with Ryan. Yeah, I was happy, but I could have been happier.
And that's exactly what she just said. I'm happy, but I could be happier. So what's going to make me happier, I'm going to go pursue that. And what's making me happy right now is going to be thrown in the garbage bin.
I mean, feeling that way day in and day out, lying next to someone, feeling like you're missing out or you're not where you're not where you belong. I couldn't live with that. So, I made the decision to get a divorce, and so happened that Ken's relationship didn't work out either. And
it just so happens that Ken's relationship didn't work out. Really, is that the truth, Gypsy? Or is it that he saw that you were getting a lot of attention, you were making a fair amount of money because you were recently released from prison, and he decided to go ahead and pawn off his girlfriend, just like you pawned off your marriage with Ryan, and y'all decided to reconnect and say, F everyone's feelings. This is what's going to be good for now. This is making me happier. So let's just go with it. Who cares what anyone else thinks?
I mean, definitely could have waited till the divorce was final. But I'm a fool in love. So with all that being said, Ken and I have been through a lot together and apart.
You've been through a lot. You've been through a lot, even though the majority of time that you've known Ken, you were in prison. How much can you really go through when you're behind bars and he ends up jumping ship and leaving you? And now you want to come out and be like, oh, this is a legendary love story. This is what's always meant to be. Like, the timeline and the manner in which all of this has been carried out is not giving, this is a love story that was put on hold and now we have reconnected and we're going to reconcile. That is not anywhere near this situation, based on my perspective and my opinion.
For granted, I don't want a moment to go by that he wonders, does she love me? Because I all
right, get ready. Here come the fake tears, the fake crying, the fake, oh my God, this is getting me so emotional, shtick to what she does on social media. I love when people fake cry and there are no tears. It is a bit of a talent, but those of us that can see through it very easily. And Gypsy Rose is not crying. She is acting as if she is emotional over something in order for people to believe what she is telling them. The act.
I am so in love with this man. In the 5 years that we were separated, I was in pain. I couldn't get over him.
I couldn't get over him, and that's why I chopped my hair off, dyed it blonde, and then ended up trapping him with a pregnancy.
I always felt lost. I always felt like my person was within reach. I just couldn't get to him. And I felt like the time that we had together.
You felt like Ken was always the one. Then why is it that you married Ryan Anderson? Based on my perspective, she ended up going to Ryan because she wanted to look really good in front of the parole board. She wanted to have a safe house to land in once she was released, and she realized that Ryan would jump over the moon for her. So she said, let's go ahead and do this. She would be able to do whatever she wanted to do. And sure enough, she did.
While I was locked up, like, we were robbed of a real relationship, of a real chance together. Like, you know, most people, when they break up on the outside.
Oh, we were robbed because I had killed my mother and I wasn't allowed to come out of prison and this guy left me. We were robbed of a love story. Bullshit.
They know that their relationship is not going to work, and they know that they did everything they could. Like, they had a real shot. But we didn't have that. We were robbed of that. We couldn't have a normal relationship at that time.
Robbed because I was in prison for killing my mother. Where is the robbing? What robbing took place? You're upset that you were in prison and somebody left you?
And so now that we can, like, that is something to treasure. That's something to hold on to. I can't express enough how happy he makes me. And I know I'm bawling right now. It's just, I'm so emotional. Because we're having a baby. We made a baby together. And that is such a blessing. The fact that I am so blessed in my life to have a family that loves me.
Me personally, I could never, and I realize this is a, person-to-person decision once you're uploading content. I've always had a problem with the idea of setting up a camera and then crying when I'm in the room by myself, and especially when it's fake crying, editing that and posting it for the world to see. I mean, if you're gonna cry on the internet, you're gonna have to do a little bit better than this, and then maybe people will look past the fact that you uploaded yourself crying on the internet.
A second chance at life. The man that I truly love back in my life, and we're starting our own family. Like, that's something to hold on to and never let go. All right, I'm done. I'm sorry, I just went on a whole tangent. Okay, so it's just about 9 o'clock, and Ken should be getting off of work any moment now. So let's set the tone.
I reheated some food and I lit a candle, and this is me showing you appreciation. Let me not be petty.
Okay, so I just got home from work, and Gyps surprised me with her famous spaghetti here. It's the first time she's ever cooked for me, so I'm excited to try her cooking. It's really hot, though.
Famous. She didn't cook before she killed her mother, and she probably wasn't cooking this in prison. So how is it famous? Here's what happened. Ken came in and she was like, okay, I have to put this on YouTube, so can you sit down and say that I made my famous spaghetti for you, and then do a taste test and act like you like it, even though it might taste like, a cardboard box. Just do it for the viewers. And Ken's sitting here like, let me go ahead and play along because I'm kind of stuck right now.
It's very good.
Good.
Very good.
Good. Okay, I'm
10 out of 10.
Good. First. And then I have the pasta sauce, the tomato paste, the diced tomatoes with green chilies, all my spices. So I've got all my kitchen set up. Let's get to work. I'm gonna wait until this heats up a little bit. Put a little bit of virgin olive oil. Oh god. This is the same one that caught on fire. I'm gonna die if this thing catches on fire. to go to the opposite burner. I'm not gonna lie, Ken like set the kitchen on fire a few days ago. So I'm really terrified of doing that. Oh my god. He's gonna be like, you're never cooking in my kitchen again. That's fine. You just need to use soap.
So if you notice earlier in the video, she says that she moved the pot closer so that the viewers could see what she was doing, but it was actually because there was smoke coming off of the burner. Here's the whole thing. There were probably a couple of droplets of water on the bottom of that pan causing the smoke. So somebody that thinks that the kitchen is going to be set on fire because of a little bit of smoke is also the same person publishing this famous spaghetti recipe. You'll see how like the content speaks for itself. Gypsy is a pathological liar. Ken is along for the ride because he really has no choice right now. But as we all know, this is not going to last forever. Absolutely not. So either way, Jesus take the wheel. Hopefully they don't do anything. Well, maybe not they, but especially Gypsy. Hopefully she doesn't do anything stupid in order to, attempt to reheat any more food. But time will tell. So I'm going to move on with my evening. So yeah, for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.